Hey, what up though, y'all? This is your girl LadyTAngel, and I'm finally here giving y'all the exclusive interview for a 4-part series for A Girl in the Frenemy, written by Mwah. So I thought, sure, it's around Valentine's Day. I finally got some time off, so I thought, why not get to this now? Because I've been running around like a chicken with his head cut off, thinking about a whole bunch of other different things. So I was like, come on, girl, you gotta get this interview out the way at least. You don't want these questions just to be sitting around like this forever. Okay, so I'm doing the full interview for all 4 parts of A Girl in Front of Me, and each portion consists of 5 questions each. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. Okay, so Haley's regret. The first question for Haley's regret is, how did you start writing this story? And I gotta mention too, some of these questions, they did come from viewers, so I can't wait to jump right into these and answer y'all questions. Okay, so how did I start writing this story? So it was interesting. It was only supposed to be an audition video for a production company that I first started acting with. That was the purpose of me doing it at first. But then I thought, okay, I kind of left the story on like a cliffhanger, so I want to do more with the story. So that's what I ended up doing. That's how it became 4 parts. But I based the story on me and a best friend of mine who's no longer in my life, who I used to go to high school with. We were fresh new adults at the time. She hasn't been around since 2020 or 2021, by what I remember. Like I said, it's been a few years, so forgive me. But yeah, I based the story on her and I. But again, I put a spin to my stories, even though I based them on my real life situations, what I had went through and all that good stuff. That's how most of my stories are. But I'm a writer. I love putting spins on my stories. Some things did happen and some things didn't actually happen. If that makes any sense. That's it. That's what I do, y'all. So yeah, I first started writing a story about me and an ex-best friend that's no longer in my life. I'm just gonna leave it like that. I'm trying to breeze through these questions. I'm not trying to make this video long-winded, because every time I say I'm not gonna make a video long-winded, y'all know how I get. I get off subject. I talk about other things. I'm like, I'm gonna try not to do that this time. Okay, so next question. How did you name the characters? No. Okay, so I named the characters at random. So when I did Haley's Regret at first, Haley was supposed to be close to my name in real life, because y'all know my name is Taylor, my government name. So I was trying to make the character's name like, okay, since this character is basically me in real life, why not try to make her name related to mine, something that sounds like my actual name. Like I said, I wouldn't go with Tyler because that's obviously a middle name. So, so Haley was the closest thing I could think of at the time. Like, I've been racking my brain, y'all just have no idea. Haley was supposed to be named after my government name in real life. The other characters like Priscilla and Felicia, Felicia, she's named after my ex-best friend's government name. I'm not gonna say what it is, but all y'all gotta know is that we're not friends anymore. She's been out of my life for quite some time, and it's gonna stay like that. Like I said, she was not great for my life. I just gotta leave it like that. But Priscilla, I named her at random. Like I said, God forbid, I don't even remember how I picked the name, to be honest with y'all. I just got the character name at random. Like Priscilla, oh, that's a pretty cute name, so I just went with that and rolled with it. So that was it. Okay, so next question. What made you play all 3 characters? What made me play all 3 characters, like I said, it was strictly an audition video for a production company that I used to work with for about a year and a half, I believe. Like I said, they decided to cut ties with me, but I can't tell y'all what that reason is. Hopefully one of these days in the future we'll be able to reconcile, talk about things, but right now it's a no. But all I gotta know is that, yeah, it was strictly just an audition video at the time. It wasn't supposed to be a 4-part series at first. Okay, next question. How did this get renamed Haley's Regret? Well, it was like I was just telling y'all just now. Originally, audition video, and I renamed it because of the 3 parts that followed behind it. So I thought, like, okay, there's Haley's Doom, Haley's Happily Ever After, and there's Haley's disappearance. So why not just name this one also? This is the part that starts it all, and going into the next one, and the next one, and the next one. So yeah, that's how I decided to rename it. Now I had to do some thinking on it. Okay, like, what can I name this after Haley's? Like, do I want to name it Haley's Stupidity, or like Haley's My Bad, or like Haley's Trouble? I said no, neither of those make any sense to me. So I just went with Haley's Regret, because obviously she had regret behind trusting this particular friend. I mean, hey, but that's it. Okay, last question for Haley's Regret. Who is Priscilla and Felicia to the story? So Felicia is she's the antagonist to the story. So she is the antagonist to the story. She seems sweet and genuine at first, but then later on she shows her colors when she got busted on a phone call when Haley comes out from the bathroom. And obviously there's no sense in hiding, so she had to show her true self. So she was using Haley. She actually didn't give a damn about her, and she kept stealing and stealing. Like I said, I don't know any friends that close, honestly, to where they have each other's banking information, because I couldn't even do that with my best friend. So I'm so sorry. I love y'all, though. I do love y'all. But no, I couldn't even do that. But Priscilla, okay, at first she did come to Haley's aid, even though she can't stand the thought of Haley herself. You'll find that out later on in the parts. If y'all did not watch those, they're on my YouTube channel. Go ahead and run them streams up for me, y'all. Appreciate it. But yeah, she was going on to tell Felicia that she was wrong for playing Haley, blah blah blah, even though she was a part of the whole thing that happened in the first place. She was trying to make it out to seem like that she was being one of the good guys, if that makes any sense. So she's kind of like back and forth in that first part. So that's who Priscilla is. But she's very, very close to Felicia. And obviously, if y'all watch the parts later on, you're going to find out what their relationship is. I'm just not going to say it right now because we're still on Haley's Regret. But we just finished that, so we're on Haley's Doom now. Okay, so first question for Haley's Doom. What played a big role in the installment? The thing that played the biggest role in the installment, I definitely want to say hands down, the interrogation scenes. See, I had my girl Keita and Blue the Champ, both very phenomenal actors, and we did, like, I don't remember how many parts of the interrogation scene we did, because it went like a day by day type of thing. So I'm trying to think how can I work this. But yeah, from what I remember, it was very, very interesting. Like I said, we went all out with the scene. Blue getting in my face, he played the guard in the scene, and he was in Haley's Disappearance later on. So it was very amazing to have him. And Keita, she was only there for that one part. And because of how I originally wrote Haley's Disappearance, I had to take her character, I replaced her with another lawyer. But like I said, if y'all see the story, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. She plays Haley's regular lawyer, Jessica. And because she couldn't reprise her role during the time, I had to replace her with another. So that's when the Carter came in. But appreciate y'all nonetheless. But definitely the interrogation scene, I had to say, is the biggest role in the installment. Okay, so next one. How did Haley have her phone in jail? Well, if y'all watch the story, y'all will know exactly how. But the guard that was, what's the word? That was basically working her nerves. I can't think of the word right now, but was basically working her nerves. And she spent, like, I think I wrote it like she spent like at least 2 days in jail without a phone call. And then when the guard brought her to her interrogation room, she basically got on his head about it, and he wasn't having it. But a little bit later on, he just gave her the phone. I'm sorry, I'm trying to think of the right words to say, because I can't think of them right now. I had to word them a certain type of way, so forgive me, y'all. But yeah, the guard was the one that was holding her phone, the one that kept trying to work her nerves, or did work her nerves. Okay, so the next one is, how was Keith brought into the story? Obviously, I wanted to give Haley like a happily ever after type of thing. That's how the third part, Haley's happily ever after, came into the story, because I wanted to give her like some type of happy ending, but if y'all watch the story, it wasn't really happy ending. But that's what y'all gotta watch all 4 parts for, so that way y'all can see everything from beginning to end. So that's how Keith was brought to the story. Okay, so the next one is, how was Olivia and Christina brought into the story? It also applies to the happily ever after type of thing. Like, I want to give Haley like genuine friends who actually cares about her, who will stick beside her no matter what goes on in her life. You know, just show their love and that they care, you know, because, you know, Haley was dogged out by Felicia and Priscilla both, and she thought that they would always be there for her, and they dogged her out. So it relates to the same thing as the previous question. I want to give Haley some type of happy ending to her story. Okay, and the last one, how did Haley's sentence get reduced? Okay, from what I remember how I wrote it, I didn't want to make the story like going like years off into the future, and that makes any sense because the characters would be obviously we had to wear certain makeup and shit. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. So I'm gonna write this like give her a reduced sentence, and then we just go from there. So that's how. Okay, so Haley happily ever after. Okay, so the first question to that one is, why didn't Olivia and Destiny go to court with Haley for support? Because the actors that had played Olivia, not the OG Olivia, because my girl Maria, she was the OG Olivia at the time. She couldn't continue her role because of other projects that she was involved in at the time, so she had to say no to continuing mine. So I had to cast my friend rapper girl Favor as Olivia. Instead of casting Olivia out completely, I wanted to keep her into the story. I just had to cast somebody else to play her part. I wanted to keep Olivia into the story. I didn't want to be like, okay, so she was only in this one part right here, like, who is Olivia? What type of friend is she to Haley and all of that stuff? So I just wanted to keep her in, even though it was a different actress that was playing it. But love you both regardless. How did y'all think of that? But at the time, Olivia and Destiny was not at court with Haley for support because both of the actors obviously could not be there at the time of filming, and we had to keep the cameras rolling. So for that part, for that particular scene, I did have to rewrite it, but it was a very good rewrite. Y'all gotta go back and watch that. The court scene for that one, epic. Y'all gotta watch that. Okay, so the next one is, how did Chris get casted as Keith Jacobson? And do you have a crush on him? Okay. So my man's Chris, what was his last name? Oh yeah, Chris Kurt. Got casted as Keith. He was actually one of the first ones I thought about asking to play Haley's first love interest. Because like I said, he's a cool dude. He was literally on his shit, like, for real. Like I said, I was looking at it like, okay, I seen that he's consistent, like he really wants to be doing stuff like this, and he's building himself up. So I thought, why not help him out and ask him, like, do you want to be involved in this, playing this character right here? So that's how he got the role. And it's interesting that y'all asked this question here as well, like, do we have a crush on him? No. He is like a brother to me. I do not have a crush on Chris. Like I said, he cool people, but I don't like him in that sense. I like how y'all squeeze that in and ask that. Okay, so the next one is, why did Olivia get recasted? I literally just explained that. My girl Maria, who played the OG Olivia in Haley's film, like I said, she was unable to continue her role, so I had to give it to somebody else. I wanted to keep Olivia into the story, even if it meant that it was going to be played by a different person. So I literally just explained that. So that was my bad. Kind of skipped over that. Okay, next one. How did you add in Haley getting pregnant if it wasn't in the script? I'm gonna be honest with y'all. It was a last minute add-in for Haley's Happily Ever After. I thought, like, okay, there's a certain way that I wanted to put a spin to part 4, which is Haley's disappearance, and make it like, okay, so whose baby did she have? Was it Keith's? Was it another man's that she was possibly messing around with? Like I said, I didn't make Haley a hoe or nothing like that. It was just to give y'all some type of mystery and like, what the fuck? Okay, so how did this happen? I just wanted to give y'all something like that. or was trying to. Because like I said, with some things in writing, I am a little bit rusty, but I can promise y'all I've been writing like literally since I was a child. I used to illustrate, write fictional stories. I used to love all of that. That never left with me. I stay consistent when it came to writing, whether it was in acting or, of course, I'm a lyricist. I also songwrite as well for myself. As I never thought about doing it for other people yet, but that's only if I decide to just stay behind the scenes and, you know, help them out, help build them up, as well as I be helping other people, if that makes any sense to y'all. So yeah, that part was a last minute add-in just to answer that question. How did you decide to appoint Keith as the original antagonist cousin? Well, if y'all know me, I have such a very big mastermind. I love putting spin on things, thinking like, okay, how can I take this and make this more interesting to the audience and make them be like, oh my god, she got a mind like this? That's called one to do it. So I decided to put Keith as the antagonist cousin because I wanted to give more mystery, more drama into the story. Because I don't know if some of my viewers, like, if y'all are really like into drama. Like, I'm really into genres like that. I'm into romance sometimes, but real life, hell no. But yeah, I'm also into that. I'm also into comedy and a little bit of scary stories as well, but not as much as the main three I just named for y'all. So yeah, that's it. Okay, so finally we're on Haley's disappearance. So the first question to that is, how did Haybert get casted as the main male lead, which is James Evans? That's who he plays. Oh my god, do you have a crush on him? How did James get added to the story? Okay, so to answer the first question, he got casted as the main role. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, he was actually like the third person that I thought about asking to play James Evans. Like I said, it was a part of the second portion of Haley's disappearance, because Haley's disappearance was supposed to end at Haley's rescue, but again, I wanted to give her, like, after the shit that she had went through with Keith, his cousins, all of that good shit, I wanted to give Haley like a real happily ever after ending, y'all. Not just like a temporary happily ever after and then, oh, so that's it, there ain't nothing more to that. I want to give her like a real happily ever after to her story. So that's how James got added into that story right there. And do I have a crush on Haybert? I'm gonna be honest with y'all, if y'all follow me on social media, some of the songs I've been writing and all that stuff, releasing my truths about certain things when it came to him. Yes, I did like him. I very, very, very much liked him. And then, how did Haybert get casted as the main male lead? That's all I'm gonna tell y'all. Like I said, if y'all follow me musically wise, then y'all will see everything else that I had to say about my stories, obviously. So make sure y'all run those strings up and all that good shit, because my songs are on most of these platforms. So make sure I go support LadyTAngel, don't forget that. How did Haybert get cast as the main lead? Okay, I think I just answered that question. So oh, you know what? I didn't answer all of it. So Haybert got casted because obviously I reached out to him on social media. I inboxed him and I asked, like, would you want to be my character's love interest for my story in Haley's disappearance? And he said, oh yeah, of course. At the time, I remember how very excited he was. When we were getting ready to shoot the wedding scene especially, I saw his excitement in that one as well, and I was looking like, oh, I didn't think he'd be excited over that. So I was thinking like, oh yeah. Like I said, as far as how he feels about me in real life, like I said, that one is a very confusing situation. Can't even decode that. To be honest, I've been off of that over a year now. So that's all I'm gonna tell y'all. But when the other two before him, I thought about asking to play James Evans, either they didn't answer or they said no. That's when the role had went to him. He was the first one that showed genuine interest in the role. So that's how James Evans went to Haybert. Okay, so next one. Why was the first half of the story shorter than the second half? Because I kept doing a bunch of rewrites. see, like, for the earlier scenes for Haley's disappearance, things that were crucial to the story I didn't want to leave out there, so I had to write them differently because most of my lead actors to the story, they were unable to continue their roles. I'm not going to say why their reasonings were, because each one of them were different. But yeah, I didn't want to leave anything out, so the characters were still mentioned into the story, they just weren't physically there. Like I said, the one that's probably going to confuse y'all the most is when the story first starts out, after the title card and the credits. And that's the Destiny and Olivia meeting Haley at the bar, them thinking that she would be on her way to meet them there for celebratory drinks, for news that she had to announce to them that her manager from Haley's Happy Ever After had to explain to her. But obviously they didn't know that Haley was kidnapped until they heard it from the news, so that's how they found out. But yeah, a bunch of rewrites. That's the reason why the first half was shorter than the second half. The second half worked out because everyone was present, I believe, for the days that we had shots. Like I said, I didn't think the wedding scene was going to work out because I was afraid it was going to have cancellations. I mean, there were some people that were late, but everybody showed up. That's all that matters. So I was able to get that the way that I wanted it to, even though we didn't get all the angles, because we were doing some sitting around talking behind the scenes, and me trying to figure out as a director, how do I want this part to go, how do I want that part to go? Because originally the wedding scene was supposed to be like a music over type of scene. It wasn't going to be no voiceovers, no voices, no nothing. It was just going to be music all throughout. That's how I originally wrote it. But it was Haber's idea to do the vocals anyway and just add the background music, so I went with his idea. And if y'all didn't know, he's one of the co-directors to the project for his appearance. Okay, next one. Why was the timeline of the wedding and the proposal so short? Well, if y'all follow the story of Haley's disappearance when James Evans first comes into the story, y'all know exactly where that is. It happens right after Haley gets rescued from Keith Jacobson, her ex, obviously. But it was short because, like I said, if y'all follow the story, y'all know exactly what happened. But just in case y'all didn't, so James explained his history with Haley before he actually proposed to her. Explained why he came back for her, because obviously he still loves her. He didn't see his life being with nobody else but her, and he wanted to be that type of man and show her that he's the type of man. So I thought, yeah, go ahead, hurry up and tie that knot and get your lady. That's all I'm saying. Like I said, that's some deep shit. I admire that. Okay, next question. Was most of the romance scripted or was it improv? From what I remember, most of it was definitely improv. We didn't go by 100% script, obviously. Because I wanted to give everybody the free will to be who they actually are in real life. Just how certain sets be telling you, like, be yourself, don't be married to the script and all of that stuff. I understand that wholeheartedly. Even though I've been in the industry for like a few years, I get that behind a director's standpoint of view. So, there's that. And the last one, finally. Wow, and we didn't even make it to a half hour, so we really do this fast. Do we find out the gender of Haley and James' child in the story? In Haley's disappearance, no. The way it ended, you would imagine that it is another cliffhanger, but as of right now, it is hard for me to get all the regular actors together for the next part that I did write. Is titled Haley's New Beginning. Now, I did want to run that, but it all depends on the other actors, the lead actors that's involved in the project as well that were in Haley's disappearance. There's a few that won't be in it due to what happened to their characters, but the other ones that were able to make it like toward the end, of course, you're going to be seeing them again, but it all depends on what they want to do. But that's it. But thank y'all so much for tuning in to this interview. I hope y'all enjoy. Like I said, I apologize for being kind of all over the place a little bit. Like I said, I wasn't even expecting to do that, honestly, but that's just how I am sometimes. But don't forget to subscribe for more videos, y'all. Comment your thoughts. What did y'all think about this? Did y'all like the look? And all that good shit. But thank y'all so much for tuning in. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna see y'all for more videos to come. I apologize again. Alright. I'll see y'all soon.